guys, welcome to our 6th installment of Down the Right Field Line. I'm your host Rafi, and here I have my co-host Robert, and we'll welcome all of your opinions and comments, concerns. You can follow us on Twitter at Down the RF Line. You can also go to our Facebook page at Down the RF Line, and you can also email us at downtherfline@yahoo.com. So without further ado, I think we have some comments there, Rob. What do we got?
Well, I definitely am pleased with the amount of comments we got this week. We got all kinds of different things going on, so keep commenting on our videos, tweet us, or follow us on Facebook, and let us know what you guys think, especially with all the stuff that's going on this offseason with the newly crowned Miami Marlins. Our angry email of the week comes from Flashy Live TV on YouTube. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. Who considers orange as a reasonable color for anything other than an emergency services jumpsuit? What do you think about that, Rafi?
Last time I checked, look, I don't understand. Am I the only one that likes the orange? I mean, look,
I don't know. I'm getting a lot of mixed feelings on it. There's people that really like the orange. There's people that just aren't buying it.
I like it, and not only that, but you have the Giants, Orioles, Mets. Who else wears orange out there? It's not foreign. People wear orange, guys. It happens. It's part of the baseball uniforms nowadays. Let's get used to it, and it's not that bad. And I'm sure whoever's despising the orange there, you'll see him wearing it soon.
Oh, we got a comment on Albert Pujols. Here we got Nova Star 6 commented, said, doubt the Marlins will go all out on Pujols. Pujols is just testing the market to see what he can get. Once he gets a respectable offer from the Cards, he'll sign with the Cards. Do you think the whole Marlins thing with Pujols is just to kind of spice things up and he's going to end up going with the Cards, or do you think it's a legitimate offer?
I think it's a legitimate run by the Marlins. I heard something where the offer was reported under $200 million, which is what Pujols is looking for. But obviously that's just speculation. We don't know exactly what the offer was. I'm sure they'll make a good run at it, and I wouldn't. The Cardinals aren't just gonna lay down either. I mean, that's their top, franchise player there. So I'm sure they'll both have a good run at it. And so we'll see. Ultimately, where do I think he's going to end up? South Florida, baby. But we'll see what happens.
All right. I like that answer. I probably agree a little bit with you. I've said since the beginning of the offseason that he's going to sign with the Cardinals. Now, when all this hype started with him coming here, it obviously excited me. And a little bit we're going to talk about, how the Marlins would look like if they had Pujols in it. Here's an interesting one, Rafi. You're going to like this. There's Sully Baseball commented on one of our videos, said, I miss the teal, but I dig how colorful they are. Good riddance to the pinstripes. Remember we talked about the pinstripes, and you said that, it's kind of outdated and everything. And, I've never liked the Yankees, so I'm glad to see those pinstripes go.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like I've said before, it's a dying art, and but to a degree, I mean, the pinstripes, excuse me, it's something like we've said, a mystique, something that could be considered, at another level or whatever. But like I said, pinstripes, it's time to go, buddy. So with that, we are done with the comments, done with that. But you can obviously continue that next week. And we're going to go into lineups. As you've heard, rumors on Jose Reyes, Albert Pujols, a bunch of players. I've even heard Carlos Beltran in there. Yeah. There's different players that have been rumored about. And we kind of, a lineup on MLB Network came out, a scenario in where Reyes and Pujols would sign with the Marlins. And you could see right here, the lineup is posted. And it's not that far off from what we have, but we'll show you what we have. What do you have, Rob?
Well, I kind of see things a little bit differently. I understand Infante batting number 2, Although I might want to see Bonifacio up there since he's going to get better pitches to hit, and he needs to be on the top of that lineup so he can score runs.
Yeah.
But I have Infante still at number 2, although I see Bonifacio a better fit up there. Now the only difference I have is I think that Stanton will do a lot better batting 5th. Now I want him to bat 4th behind Hanley, but if you have a guy like Pujols in there, imagine having Pujols, Hanley, then Stanton back to back to back. I mean, that's one of the best in baseball.
Yeah.
And I don't think, putting Lomo in between, although Lomo is increasing his pop. I kind of like him a little bit lower because he's very picky. He'll get on base.
Right.
So, but I want the 1-2-3 punch with Pujols, Hanley, and Stanton.
Definitely. We're not that far off, although for me, I would have Bonifacio leading off. Yes, that's right, Bonifacio leading off. Followed by Reyes. I think that if you have Bonifacio, who arguably has more speed than Reyes does, you have Bonifacio getting on. Reyes also has the same amount of, more or less the same amount of speed, but he can also drive the ball in the gap, so you have that. Then you have Pujols batting 3rd, Hanley 4th, Stanton 5th, I agree with you there, Lomo 6th, either Buck 7th or Infante 8th, or we could flip-flop that. To me, it makes no difference. It depends on the situation. And with the pitcher batting 9th, it may be a little unorthodox, but I think as far as Bonifacio and Reyes back-to-back, but I think it works. What is your take on what I've got there?
I mean, it seems fairly decent. The one thing I wanted to bring up is the payroll. I mean, all this rumor about us going after Reyes, going after Pujols as well. I mean, how's that payroll going to be affected? Are we going to have to start trading guys like Nolasco to save a little bit of money? Obviously, I don't think we would get Oviendo, Leo Nunez back, so that's going to save us some money on that side.
Yeah.
But I don't know how this payroll is going to shape up if we're trying to stay at 90 million. It looks like if we get both of them, it would be over 100. And then how are they going to address pitching, starting pitching, and the bullpen if they already spent all their money? So I love these lineups. It would totally excite me if this happened. But at the same time, the business side of me is saying, well, are they going to be able to pay for this, and how are they going to address the other problems?
Right. No, obviously, but I guess the reported deal was 6 years, 90 million, and Pujols was just under 200. So for 9 years, if I'm not mistaken, is what I heard. That's crazy. He's 31 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
31, 32. You're talking about a 40-year-old, and I'm not saying that he cannot be productive at that age. I'm just saying it's a risk. And so, but he's one of the best players out there, if not the best player out there. And we'll see what happens. But you're right in those terms as far as how this is going to work out. Do we end up with Mark Burley if we sign those two? Do we end up with Ryan Madson? Who knows? And going into that, let's talk about a little Major League Baseball news. Just today, actually, the Astros sale was complete, and they're slated to move to the AL West by 2013. And with that, you have talk of 2 extra wildcard teams that could potentially be up and ready to go for this coming season. What would happen is the 2 wildcard teams would meet up for one playoff game, to then move on to the division series. I think it's not what I expected, I guess, but it's
good for ratings. At the end of the day, it's all about ratings.
Yeah, it comes down to one game, I guess, but there's different ways to look at. I mean, you can have a team that isn't supposed to be there, that's 9 games out of first place of the wild card, face the first place wild card team, and they can actually win it, and on and on and on. They can end up winning the World Series, but hey, that's I guess that's what makes it exciting. Like you said, the ratings are high on that. But what are your takes on that? I mean,
it's very interesting. I mean, you brought up a very legitimate point. There's a lot of years where the wild card team takes off and develops this huge lead. So you can have a second place team in the wild card essentially finish in third place and win the World Series, which, you know, proponents of the wild card in the beginning didn't like seeing a second place team winning the World Series.
Right.
Now you can have a third place team, which is still kind of interesting, but at the same time it brings more competitive balance to the sport. You're going to have a interleague series every day of the season, but I think it's going to make it interesting. I actually saw something that said if you put together all the interleague series, the amount of games a given team plays in a season versus the other league, you put that against the way it is going to be now, where you have interleague series every day of the year, it's actually going to be around the same amount of interleague games.
Really?
So it really doesn't matter if all those games are played in June or they're played throughout the season.
Yes, but we did have the conversation of whether they'd be playing in September. I have an issue with that. And, you know, it's one of those things where if you're going to have it, you're going to have it all season long, but I definitely have an issue with having it in September. And that's for you to decide. So you can comment on this page right here on YouTube. You can also email us at downtherfline@yahoo.com, Facebook us at downtherfline, and follow us on Twitter at downtherfline. That's it for this week. We'll see you later, and we'll leave you with our random video of the week, which we like to call
the Mega Freakout.